Before the latest round of protests put Black Lives Matter back on the agenda,
for the most of this time, you have the mic.
Back before COVID-19 interrupted a community conversation.
Be honest, because what you say today can affect this entire city.
These Nashville teens came together at Pearl-Cohn High School.
May I have hand raised for community facilitators?
To talk about life in 37208, a part of the city generally known as North Nashville that has historically had the highest rate of incarceration of any zip code in the country, trying to figure out how to break the cycle.
The people that are affected or in that research are my students' grandparents, and uncles and great uncles. And so it was based on their family. And so they're living that whole study, quite frankly.
You all feel that the crimes that's happening with the youth out here today is because of lack of conversation, no one's listening to them?
Yes.
For the next 90 minutes,
try to be more understanding, even though you don't know.
More understanding.
Yeah.
The teens were asked to help Nashville see the world through their eyes.
Because I grew up without my parents. Both of my parents were incarcerated at birth before I even made it to this earth.
A world sometimes without siblings.
I got brothers and sisters that have been locked up down here, and it's getting out of hand in my eyes.
More often without dads.
It changed me personally with my dad. He's been in and out of jail since I've been little, and he missed out on some of my life.
14-year-old Javian Howard.
I want to, feel it, go to him, touch him, give him a hug, let him know that I love him, let him come to one of my football games, my basketball game, come to my track, come so he can see, so he can come support me. But it's really hard to do that when he's locked up.
We here talking about the incarceration in 37208. Where's our mayor?
What we heard were kids.
Yeah, I feel like in our community, the police in our system are too hard on victimless crimes.
Who feel people are just waiting for them to fail.
If I mess up one time, they expect that little black girl to act up all the time, so I'm a target now.
Not even expecting much of them at school.
We're in class, we check in, we leave. You know why? Yeah. Because we don't have teachers. They're permanent subs they sit down.
They just sit there.
They sit down and play games on my iPad.
They get their paycheck and then they go home.
Some of us are first-time graduates. We're first-time college goers. We are trying to set the foundation, but we can't because of the stuff that we're suffering here at school.
Over and over we heard.
Some kids getting expelled, some kids doing this, that, and the third because they feel like they're not learning in the classroom.
How they feel left behind.
If you compare us to other schools, we ain't doing enough, and they're settling. We don't need to settle.
18-year-old Renea Sutton.
And it's embarrassing because every time I try to have company or my mom tried to have company, they say, oh, you live in that bad area of town.
Like everybody else in the school environment is, oh yeah, my dad's this, my dad's that. Well, my dad's been in jail since I was born,
Yeah.
So it's, yeah.
And we heard how these kids bring emotions to school.
But he was just in jail for a week or 2, 3 weeks at the most. But it affected me.
That schools are not always prepared to handle.
It caused a lot of depression in my life. It caused a lot of hatred towards the world. Like, you have a father, I don't. It was a big disconnect.
Again, the young voice of experience.
In class or something, you may not want to be bothered. You get mad. That's how fights happen. You get kicked out of school, start taking the wrong path.
You escape home.
The problem.
To come to school to find what I call
some type of help.
Yeah.
Relief. And you're not
relief.
getting it.
And then when you get here, there's no relief.
Right. You're upset at home, and then you're going and taking it out, and that's when another behavior starts and another offense causes.
Yes.
And then you're back in incarceration yourself because of what's already happened.
Yes. It's a vicious cycle. Yes.
18-year-old Brandon Brown Springer.
Therapy is very important because a lot of traumatic things happen in the community. Like we said, the trauma and the drama at home. That builds behaviors and keeps the cycle going. We need support in school. We need support in the community. We need you to hear us and understand what we're really going through. Not just looking at us and saying, oh, that's wrong. Let's see why we're doing it, why it's wrong.
And when it was their turn to propose solutions, they wanted better police.
Not just any policeman that would that would act like they would help us, but actually tear us down. Ones that we can actually talk to and trust.
And they really wanted mentors.
Reliable mentoring programs to help our kids, help our youth stay out of trouble and stay off the streets.
16-year-old Kavon Coffey.
I want to be proud of my community. I want everyone in my community to be proud.
Getting there, the councilman for 37208 admitted, will require figuring out how to help the rest of the city to see these kids as our kids.
Today we heard that we need mentors, right? Today we heard that we need social emotional learning in the schools, and we also just need to listen. The listening part is free, but the other things, the other mentors, that may cost.
And we just need someone that we can confide in, we can talk to them, and just be able to get it off our chest to have that relief.
Social emotional learning, that's definitely going to cost. There's other resources that we can put in play and put into action here in the school system, but we know that it's going to take financial needs.
And that's where the conversation usually ends.
And we believe that if we're having this conversation and nothing ever changes, there's really no point of even coming here. Like, we actually need real help.
Have you ever heard of the rose that grew from the crack of a concrete? Proving natural laws, it learned how to walk without having feet.
But Montez Dennis's poem talks about overcoming obstacles. Javion Howard puts it simply.
And I think of it, what if this was me? What if this was you? What if this was us? How could we help? And why haven't we helped?
Take that challenge. I'm in for it. Thank you.